show your support for the Untold Radio Network family of shows and join in on the conversation by using super stickers and super chats on YouTube. Got a question you want answered? Ask it live via a super chat and get real-time responses from our show's knowledgeable hosts and guests. Help keep the Untold Radio Network shows running strong. We need your support. Send your super chats and stickers now.
Well, hello, world. My name's Jay Katz, and welcome to Untold Radio's Down South Anomalies. It's episode 94.
It is.
And I am joined every week by my extraordinary wife.
Aspasia.
Yeah, and gee whiz, we are in crisis. Everything is changing for us dramatically. I have moments where I feel good. I have other moments. Okay. Our entire archives of film is moving to a property we can't even fit 10 reels of it in.
Anyway.
But we will work out storage.
Yes.
And believe me, it's life. I mean, as Doug Highcheck, our leader here at Untold Radio, said, the wheel goes down, it comes back up again. You've just got to hold on tight to that wheel comes back up again.
Yep.
So I feel for everyone in a bit of that moment in this economic climate for all of us, especially those here trying to live in Sydney. I have to make mention to one of our incredible moderators I haven't heard from in a while, and that's Catherine Four Feathers. I hope she is well. Mm-hmm. I believe that John Ayres, who suffered an injury, is back up and down in the salt mines. You can't keep that man down.
No, you cannot.
And I also have to acknowledge all the moderators on Untold Radio as just incredibly patient, beautiful, and caring people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the baby and the bathwater.
Has it been thrown out?
It has been thrown out. Major Tom to ground control.
That's right.
Here am I sitting in a tin can.
Nah.
Would you like to give us our intro?
Oh, you're going to make me
Enterobacter.
Enterobacter Bugandensis.
Okay, Enterobacter Bugandensis. It doesn't matter really.
Densis.
It is a bug that you find in the gut.
Right.
But at the moment, they're finding in all corners and all points bulletin in the ISS, the International Space Station. And that bug that was in the gut on Earth, colliding with
whatever
cosmic rays.
Yeah, everything up there.
In low Earth orbit, around 350 to 400 kilometers above this planet, has turned into a superbug.
Yeah.
Dare we say what humanity has lived through in the past?
Nobody brings it back down.
Well, dare we say what humanity has lived through in the past 4 years is going to be nothing on this thing.
Yeah.
Because what has happened, it has adapted. But more on that later. Let's get down to what's really...
So it's all things space, isn't it, today?
Oh, it's more than all things space.
Everything that's going on
this morning, Aspasia, well, yesterday in the US, and we're pre-recording this on our Friday, it goes to air on Saturday.
Yes.
The CEO, who's been getting huge amounts of bonuses.
Well, all CEOs get a huge amount of bonuses, whether the company is flourishing or just going down the gurgler. Those payouts,
millions of dollars.
It's insane.
Just a fraction of that man's bonus would save our archives.
Oh.
But, let's not worry about ourselves.
Yeah, let's not.
Has stepped aside for a new CEO because the heat is just too much at Boeing, and especially now with the Starliner, which was going to be up on the ISS for only 8 days. And it's now looking like it could be 268 days before they come down. They're speaking now February. So what we've got is what they call it the ISS.
February.
We've got a bricking happening. Do you know what a bricking is?
A
bricking is when you have a Crew 8, thank you to SpaceX, Elon Musk, in one dock, and you have the Starliner in another dock, you have bricked the docks.
Oh, right. Okay, so there's only 2 docks.
No, there's not just 2 docks, but there's 2 docks on the module that they're using. Let's not get into what's happening in the Russian module in terms of oxygen leaks, but let's have a look at Mr. The CEO. Let's just check him out and the heat he achieved before he decided I'm going to step down from this job.
You got a huge raise, a huge increase. It's working out great for you. For the American people, they're in danger. For your workers, they're in peril. For your whistleblowers, they literally fear for their lives. Don't you think maybe your priorities are misplaced here? That's not a rhetorical question.
Senator, I don't recognize any of the Boeing you described.
Really? You don't recognize the Boeing that has airplanes falling out of the sky, that has had 2 Maxes crash, that has had pieces of doors fall out of the sky, that have had whistleblowers come before they've sat right where you have sat? These are the engineers, by the way. Are you an engineer?
I'm not.
And they have said that they're not listened to, that they're retaliated against, that they're threatened. That's the reality of Boeing today. Behind you, you can't see it. Behind you, the folks are showing pictures of the people who are the victims of your safety record. I think we can all see them. And I think the American public, when they fear to get on their airplanes, they understand your safety record. And frankly, sir, I think it's a travesty that you're still in your job.
Mr. Colhoun there, I think is any relative Rory, is running for his life this morning in the US to get home, shut the doors, and never take another press conference in his life. Now, this is reminding me of a John Schlesinger film from 1969.
Confirmed tonight that the SPS engine failed to fire, leaving America's 3 astronauts still in orbit some 285 miles above the Earth, circling the globe every 94 minutes. At this time, they are approaching the west coast of Africa. No word has been issued as to the cause of the malfunction beyond the statement that was made by Dr. Keats at the news conference held this morning.
Doubt that elaborate contingency plans have been developed to meet every conceivable emergency. It has been reliably reported from Mission Control in Houston that the 3 astronauts are...
Okay, Buzz, you're right. The hell with waiting for a bunch of slide rule jockeys. We used to fix the airplanes we flew with paper clips. Let's get into our hard suits and fix this bird.
Okay, Jimmy.
You watch the store, will you?
There you go. I love that tenacity.
They're engineers, are they?
The tenacity. Oh, well, they are actually engineers,
engineers,
as opposed to Elon
So what was that
Musk.
film? Tell me that.
That
film.
is Marooned, and I will show you at the end. Impulse, just like Conquest of Space, have done a beautiful restoration of that. Now, have we spoken about acknowledging the traditional owners of our broadcast site here in Sydney, Australia, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation? We want to pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. Now, as for Sarah, I don't know if you had any idea, but Woomera was an active rocket range in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and incredible stuff going on.
Exploded.
Well, we were involved with NASA and Mercury and the Redstone rockets and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But we have never had a commercial rocket launch site at all, or a commercial space program.
Yeah.
The Gold Coast, where my sister has invested, that's saving our life in the midst of this, the beautiful Janine.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where it all started for Gilmore Space. Now, Gilmore Space are just like our great brothers that did Late Night with the Devil. Two guys that were very influenced by Star Wars. Let's have a little look at their rocket, which was set to launch a little while ago and hasn't yet. It's just sitting here up in North Queensland. Have we got the mic on? Yeah, they're beautiful. So there it is. But something might be a little adrift there.
You reckon?
Because it hasn't launched yet.
Why not?
But look, let's not go into that, but let's just check out
Imagine
what's happening.
floating 408 kilometers above Earth, surrounded by nothing but the vastness of space. I'm aboard the International Space Station, a marvel of modern science and a testament to international cooperation. But lately, we've encountered a new kind of challenge, not from space debris or system malfunctions, but a microscopic threat. Astronauts like myself, Sunita Williams, and my colleague Barry Eugene Butch Wilmore often worry about the physical challenges of space. However, our latest concern is much smaller, yet potentially more dangerous. It's a superbug, officially named Enterobacter Bugandensis, that has evolved right here on the ISS. The ISS, for those who might not know, is not just a spacecraft. It's a science laboratory orbiting Earth. It serves as a home where astronauts from around the globe conduct experiments that could not be done anywhere else. Microgravity, radiation, and an array of other unique factors make the ISS the perfect place for groundbreaking research. However, these same unique conditions have allowed this superbug to mutate and become resistant to antibiotics. Over the past 2 years, scientists have isolated 13 strains of this bug from different locations aboard the ISS. The bug thrives here, adapting in ways we never anticipated. For astronauts, this poses a significant health risk, especially for our respiratory systems. The closed environment of the station allows for no escape from such threats, and the potential for an outbreak of a drug-resistant infection is a terrifying reality. But what does this mean for space travel and our future missions? It highlights the urgent need for robust preventative measures. We must develop more effective sterilization techniques and perhaps rethink how we manage microbial life in space habitats. This discovery isn't just a warning for those of us aboard the ISS. It's a reminder of the unseen dangers we face as we push the boundaries of human presence in space. It challenges.
And you know what the interesting thing here
What's
is
that?
that they actually discovered something very similar on Mir before it was decommissioned,
Decommissioned.
deorbited.
Mm-hmm.
And is that why they actually sent it down to burn up on re-entry? And I get a feeling now, what is more dangerous? The fact that the Starliner was not given the appropriate autonomous computer updates, and so it cannot autonomously eject itself, leave.
Yes,
it
yes.
cannot come back on
Isn't
its
that
own.
bizarre?
So people have to get in it. Now, I declare that what I've been listening to in the space community is that NASA are very hesitant to put them in it because they feel that that problem that happened with the helium leaks, and it's not all NASA and Boeing's fault. It actually steps back to the old Bill Casing workplace. It's Aerojet and Rocketdyne where this trouble has occurred. They should be taking some of the blame themselves. But I'd say NASA, you might be searching for a new CEO at any moment. Anyhow, so
it's been a bit of a disaster.
So Mir, they actually opened up some area they hadn't looked at, and they found in there a water module. And as you know, in space, these things come together like a ball.
That's right.
And this thing was just generating life. And it was freaky. It was like bright yellow and green. And this is beyond Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien. And so, you know, that was in the final, you know, years, days of Mir, and now we're finding a strain, 13 strains of this super version.
Hang on, but you know when they brought Mir down,
yes,
did pieces land anywhere with the big chunks of Mir?
Let's not even go into
that.
No,
but what I'm saying is,
what are you asking me these?
Well, because
questions
how do they
the
know that
to?
this thing would have burnt? Because you know, there's microbials that live in volcanoes.
Well,
do you know what I mean? And so how do you know that something like that is actually going to burn up and not land on the planet?
We're going to step on the other side of the stream, and we're going to talk about Apollo being an actuality. I reckon there was bacteria on there that sort of survived as well.
Right.
Anyway, known to be a multi-drug resistant series of strains. They have mutated under the stress of the space environment and become genetically distinct from their Earth's counterparts.
Of course.
They are the most opportunic pathogen, co-infecting people with compromised immunity. The bacterium is also known to transfer its genome or obtain DNA from other organisms.
Right.
This means it possesses harmful traits that can lead to a plethora
of issues,
of infections. Now, of course, you'd be aware that the closed environment is the perfect place to actually breed this stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, because you've got no access to outside air or influences to transmit things away from you. It's a very extreme environment with microgravity, radiation, and elevated levels of carbon dioxide that force such microbes to actually push them.
Yeah.
Like we're being pushed now to adapt. To thrive in the most godforsaken environments.
Yeah.
So if you thought you had something to worry about in the last 4 years, do not let the ISS back here. And should we be worried about
what?
that level of astronauts up there. There's quite a few Russians up there.
Oh.
I think there's 4 others. There's Suni, and of course there is Butch.
Yeah.
People have been worried about Butch
Why is
saying, and this is not me, and it might be just rude because Butch has got a little bit of weight on, but they're worried that Butch's head is expanding.
What?
And it does. In that environment, it swells. But Butch's head, if you take a look, and they haven't shown Butch for a couple of weeks.
Really?
It's looking pretty big.
Oh, no.
I know.
Because
Imagine floating 408 kilometers.
Hello, I'm James Riley, Editorial Director at innovationoz.com. I'm on the Gold Coast today visiting with Gilmour Space Technologies as it enters the final stages of preparation of its Eris launch vehicle, an Australian designed and manufactured rocket carrying satellites designed and built in Australia and launched from Australian soil. The project is a perfect vehicle for telling a story about ambition, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
The global launch market is huge.
Ignition and liftoff.
There are more satellites than there are available rockets and spaces on those rockets.
The potential was limitless for the space industry in Australia over the next 10 years and beyond.
We've got the expertise, we've put it all together, and that is quite unique in this country. I originally was a banker. When I left university, I worked at Citibank for 20 years in financial markets, but I've always had a passion for space. I left the bank in 2015 to start this company. There's many reasons why I want to build an orbital rocket company. One of them is to satisfy my ambition of going to space myself one day. The other thing that I noticed when I came back to Australia was there was this lack of ambition in the country. And I worked overseas for 20 years and I just didn't see that in any of the other countries that I worked in. When I came back, I just thought, I'm going to show the way. And when we go to space, we'll show Australia that you can do things that are deemed impossible.
My name is Nick Lindsay. I'm the Chief of Staff at Gilmour Space Technology.
I tell you what,
No.
that is a broad statement, a lack of ambition in this country. They want to see what we're trying to achieve in 30 days. It is beyond SpaceX. I mean, you know, good on him. You know,
well, we
they
kind of have a different mentality here.
We have
Do you
a
know
much
what I mean?
more relaxed mentality.
We're very relaxed,
and
very
we're not
sport, very outdoor, very, you know, kind of
more obsessed
country.
with our lifestyle in terms of living in the outdoors and the beautiful environment we've got, thank you to our Indigenous culture, than we are of like creating these grand plans.
Look, I'm looking at all this stuff now, at all these companies that are sending all these rockets up and you know, launching all this stuff, and you know, the amount of issues,
the amount of
money that's, and it's public money. This is the thing, you know, it's like, you know,
they're all getting grants.
Well, they're getting taxpayers' money.
Boeing actually got a bigger grant than SpaceX, which has been doing a great job with its Dragon crew craft.
And it's all for what? I mean, you know, you're telling me that it's a great environment to do all these.
It's a lab up there,
the
ISS, and they're doing extraordinary experiments and they're pushing technology forward. But do we need to be
pushed that forward? I mean, when you're sending people up and they get stuck and they can't come back down. You know what I mean?
They're saying it's okay. We just need a few more months to reboot that software and we should be all right. But I think what the problem is here, Boeing's really worried about their shares dropping to the ground.
Oh.
And by appointing a new CEO, the share price has gone up evidently for a short time until they realize that they are lost in space. and anyway, you know what happened?
Well, they're actually not in space. They're in, you know.
As they got into the Starliner craft
Mm.
over 2 months ago to go up there, they realized that there was a problem on the urine recycling pump.
Oh, let's not even get started.
You're drinking your own urine.
Well,
some people actually contested that. That's a great way to go.
Recycling it.
Everyone should get rid of their first urination in the morning and drink the second one. Evidently, I've heard that. But these people are sort of recycling it because water would be very expensive to get up there.
Man.
Imagine trying to get
and what do you do with the waste? You
Yeah.
know, you may as well reuse it.
So what they had to do was remove their personal belongings for Suni and Butch in the suitcase, which must be like photos of home, spandex underwear, party lights, God knows what, a couple of CDs, a few
What do you take
books.
up there? Yeah.
What do you take up? Bill Casing's We Never Went to the Moon, the $30 billion swindle. You take that up to have a read, and then you're halfway
While
through
you're
and
up
go, I
there.
don't need this book here.
No, clearly not.
Fortunately, our vehicle has docked up there and given them their personal belongings. They've said, look, you've got another 6 months, but here you go.
Yeah,
Here's
your bits
Bill
and
Casing's
pieces.
book.
Oh my God. That's just I would be petrified. But you know what? They're talking
Their poor families must be worried, eh? I'd say
they're
their
talking
families would be
about
in a
doing
fit.
all this stuff in space now, like
Yeah.
screenings in space.
Oh, no, let's get to that. I'm going to get to that. That
Okay.
was towards the end. You blew my
I haven't
spoiler
blown
there.
anything. I haven't blown
You really
anything.
did. Okay.
I haven't blown anything. I just don't see, you know, from the perspective of trying to fix our planet and make this place
A better
good
place.
place for everybody.
Yeah.
For everybody.
And that was another
You know what I
salient
mean?
point that Doug Hychek
We are
actually brought up in one of his shows.
We are spending so much money on these things. And you know what? I'll tell you straight away that most of those experiments that they're doing up there will either be used for defense.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, a lot of this
Or
stuff
for
is going to become
commercial,
for
big
defense.
commercial companies. And I'm telling you now that the person on this planet here with a minimum income is not going to be able to
And that's the
afford
majority
any
of
of that.
people on the
That's right.
planet.
Is not going to be able to afford any of that stuff. So it's all for people that are going to be able to afford to purchase these things, or for the defense department, which is the war department, to wage war on people. So really, at the end of the day, not much good is coming out of it, except for
Space food
corporations.
sticks.
Well, space.
No, I'm joking.
You know,
I'm
it's for
joking.
corporations and for, you know, the warmongers.
military.
So
Yeah.
it's taking taxpayers' money, and that's the bottom line. All that money is coming from taxpayers because NASA gets its money from the taxes and awards these huge companies billions and billions of dollars to send stuff up, and God knows what they're doing there. I don't know.
We're looking at now the world turning into a very big commercial space race.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's going to be happening in low Earth orbit,
Mhm.
which makes you understand this notion of SpaceX having to get to a point where there are literally daily rocket launches, even if it's just a Dragon rocket. They want to get into this point-to-point thing that literally you can go, hey, miss my flight, can I get one tomorrow?
Right.
And they go, right, you're on it. Now, the reality of that is far from the truth.
Yeah.
But when you think about trying to get armaments or technology to a battlefield that's directly on the other side of the planet,
Yeah.
that is the way to get that delivery system happening. Spy satellites up really quickly.
How about
in
we
the
just
midst.
don't have wars?
That's a good idea. Now, the ISS has been up since 2000.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 90s aerospace technology, which has
Yes.
dramatically changed over the course of the last 24 years.
Supposedly.
Yeah. So we're looking at 90s aerospace technology. It weighs nearly 1 billion pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And the original module, which is the driving module,
Yes.
which is the thing that can maneuver it around when it needs to maneuver out
To
of
be
the path of
moved.
meteorites or troubling
Mhm.
Starlinks bouncing back into
Yeah.
it because there's a problem releasing them from the docking with the bricking.
Mm-hmm.
It's having a problem in that module. And that module, I believe, and I could have this wrong, is called Azaria.
Right.
For Australians, that's a shocker.
It is.
So a dingo's got my module.
Yes.
And it's leaking oxygen. So what they do is
Yeah.
they haven't been able to resolve that problem, the Russians, And because of the war in the Ukraine, the Russian safety checks are like 4 years out of date.
Okay.
So they shut the bomb bay door. Basically, it's like Dark Star. Just keep that door closed.
Is it Hal?
Because that's Hal from 2001.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But remember the Bombay door and Dark Star. Keep that. The bomb's got consciousness. Keep the Bombay door closed.
Yeah.
And we've got trouble there. So they keep the door closed, but that's not the only problem. This thing is getting old. It was only built to last 30 years. It looks like it's going to be in commissional use for at least 32 years. Because you know what?
Why?
They can't just dump this thing.
Why not?
Deorbit it. They need another space station up there to take its place before they deorbit it.
Well, has that happened yet?
There's numerous people building it. The Chinese have done a great job. Right. All that sort of stuff is coming to fruition. But it has stress fractures, multiple stress fractures. And the moment you fix one stress factor,
another one happens.
Another one appears. What are those stress factors from? Well, the mere fact that you're orbiting the planet at such a great speed that you actually hit the sun 16 to 18 times a day, and that actually heats up, expands things, drop them back. So they run around with the gaffer tape, the blue tack, sealing this crap.
Finger in the dark.
The moment you do that, you've got a hand over there, then you've got another hand. It's like Twister, basically. And it's getting worse and worse and worse.
As the time goes on, of course it would be.
Oh, gee whiz. So,
it's a dilemma, isn't it?
It is an incredible dilemma. I think in the midst of contemplating that dilemma, let's just take pause and think about what I was going to say before I was interrupted again by the ranting of my extraordinary wife.
Yeah.
Which is that Doug Highcheck actually showed me a piece about a gentleman in one of his video shots before his podcast. Going into a bathroom and cleaning up. And someone said, "Are you the janitor here?" And he said, "No, my father always said to leave somewhere a little better than you find it."
Yeah.
So what are all these multiple space race companies doing when they're jettisoning off the planet when it's in such bad shape?
Hello, members. This is Chris. I have a cool news flash from the Untold Radio Network. Starting this May 2024, members of the Untold Radio Network will be receiving special after-hours show content notifications, plus a chance once a year to hang out on camera in a webinar setting with your favorite podcast personality. And because we have 12 different shows, it means that each month you will get to meet different podcast hosts. This face-to-face meeting will allow you to discuss anything, ask questions, offer content suggestions, and get to know all of our hosts personally, plus talk to them face-to-face through the magic of YouTube Live. Again, this is for members only. And don't worry, you will be notified well in advance of a simple sign-up reservation for that particular host or hosts. Plus, member-only after-hour shows will be available in our reserved members-only section on YouTube. Each podcast will be producing at least one after-hour show or more per year, and one webinar meet and greet per year. We sincerely thank you for being a loyal listener of your favorite Untold Radio Network shows and becoming a loyal member. Other perks include you getting top priority in chat, guest interactions, plus getting the answers to your great questions from our hosts and guests. There's even more perks to members, exclusive wallpapers, special discounts on books, merch, and more. So stay tuned for new announcements. This is Chris, signing off from the Untold Radio Network. We will be talking soon.
Well, thank you, Chris, even though you've stepped right out of the automated world, which they're trying to actually get happening on Starliner right at this moment. But it's going to take them at least a month to 2 months to even get the update in. I mean, you and I wake up in the morning and the update's there, and the moment we put it in, our computers slow down and we realize it's built-in obsolescence. Yeah. There's nothing psychological about that at all.
I don't think they'd be doing built-in obsolescence up there, would they?
No, I don't think so, but I get a feeling they've already got obsolescence.
Yeah.
Space Entertainment Enterprise, a module that hosts a film studio and sports arena, could be connected to the International Space Station by December 2024. Space Entertainment Enterprise, C, which is co-producing a Tom Cruise movie that will partly be shot in space, is behind the project. If and when C1 is up and running, it plans to host TV and film productions, as well as music events and some kind of sports which can be filmed or live streamed, according to Variety. Axiom Space, which 2 years ago won a NASA contract to construct the first commercial ISS module, will build this station. All going well, C1 will be connected to Axiom's arm of the ISS. Axiom Station is scheduled to split from the ISS in 2028 with C1 still attached. Whether C and Axiom can make good on their plan remains to be seen. C hasn't said how much the facility will cost, for one thing. It's currently planning a fundraising round. Last year, a Russian crew shot a feature-length fiction film in space for the first time, beating Cruise and his director Doug Liman to the punch. That film, The Challenge, is expected to be released this year. Cruise and Lehman, meanwhile, are expected to shoot their movie on the ISS later in 2022. All products recommended by Engadget are selected by our editorial team, independent of our parent.
Yeah,
Well,
forget
that
your
didn't happen, did
editorial
it?
team, but how interesting is that? And we certainly
And
are
does-
missing every date we come up with.
Does Tom Cruise really want to go up there?
Oh, Tom Cruise is a daredevil, darling.
No.
He's gotta prove- keep
With
proving
all
to the world.
with all the issues that they're having, would you say, yeah, I want to go up there? Put me in a rocket and shoot me up there.
Well,
Would you?
I think he's probably sitting at home now going, I'll just see what happens with Starliner before I consider doing this film.
But it's like sports events, live music. Why do we need to? Who?
Now,
what
the interesting
stars?
thing
What
here,
singers? What musicians are going to say? Yeah, sure, I'll go up there.
a lot of news has dried up, and that might be just my difficult research work, but a lot of news has dried up since 2022 about entertainment space or space entertainment enterprises doing this extraordinary thing with their entertainment module. They want to project out into space. They want to have a hovering cinema, violin players floating in zero gravity. Then what sports do they want to do out there? That's incredible.
Well, what
Racquetball,
sport
ping pong. I mean, crikey.
But sending all
You
these,
know,
but
space swimming.
I mean, they, what's his name? Butch and what was her name?
Sunita.
Yeah, Suni and Butch had their what do you call it?
They
Taken
could
off
probably
them.
use a pool table
Their
at the moment, I'll tell you
personals
that
taken
much.
off them because they needed to pack something else. How are they
The
going to
pump for
send
the
up all these people and all this equipment that you need to stage these events? It
They're
makes no
building a module.
sense.
They've built a module and they've got a prism dome. You know what they've got? They've got Buckminster Fuller's
Yeah, they
geodesic
built,
dome.
but how do you send all the equipment and stuff when
Well-
I'm telling you? I just said to you that Suni and Butch had their personals taken away from them,
Starship X, darling.
so they
the
could.
Crew Dragon. You get it up there that way.
You think they're any better?
I
Oh,
want
don't
you
be
to
like
think of your
that.
favorite space movie. Between the sci-fi cult classic Aliens and the slightly more realistic thriller Gravity, there are plenty to choose from. These movies all use visual effects, green screens, and cinematography masterminds to help capture a zero-gravity outer space experience. But so far, only one feature-length fiction film has actually been shot in space. The upcoming Russian film entitled The Challenge shot about 30 hours of material on the International Space Station. Now, American film star and real-life action man Tom Cruise wants to help put the United States back on top. First announced back in 20...
It's
Another
too late,
one that
mate.
wants to do
it's too
that.
late. It's already been done.
Yeah.
You're second.
Yeah.
You're not first. If you're not first, you're a loser.
The Russians are still winning.
Yeah.
In many, many ways. Look, we will put a link to Gilmore Space. I think those
There's a
guys
link there
are
for it.
actually, doing an extraordinary
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're up in they've actually created. They've got the first commercial launch site. They're in northwest Queensland, and it's
Because
amazing.
we've never had a space program here.
A commercial space program.
Well,
we have been assisted. We have, as I stated before, the Redstone rocket, Mercury. We assisted NASA.
Assisting is different. Assisting America is different to having our own space program.
I'm sure they were
okay?
launching crap out of
They might have.
Woomera that we were
Yeah,
running. It was a rocket
but it
range,
wasn't
for
our
God's sake.
stuff. It wasn't our stuff.
No, it
It would
wasn't.
have been. It would have been American stuff. You know what I mean?
Someone can really, Anyway, they are birthing an entire brand new space program here in Australia.
Let's see what
The
happens.
other thing is,
Mm-hmm.
Spaceship X.
Yep.
Elon Musk
Yep.
wants to bring it down in the Indian Ocean, just off Western Australia,
Mm-hmm.
And we may end up with a SpaceX terminal here in this country. You and I, when we get finally reestablished, we can travel across the entire country in our cube and go and film them towing in what is the return, because it's all about reusable rockets. When it comes to Elon Musk, you're going to get those things back down and reuse them back up within 24 hours.
The only problem is that most of them just explode on the launch pad.
And they're talking about horizontal.
Did you hear what I said?
Well, don't say that.
Well, it's true.
And all right, so okay. So I think that orbital spaceport in northwest Queensland is called the Bowen Port, and it looks like in Western Australia. But there is a problem with the Australian government freaking out about security, strengthening their security restrictions, because we're fairly laxed here, apart from nightclubs, in terms of security.
Try and get into a pub
to
have a beer.
Try
it's like trying to get into Fort Knox. You've got to show them your license. What, to drink a beer?
It's not just Gilmore Space in Australia now. It is SpaceX is coming.
Yeah.
Which is... I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
It could be an exciting drive for us one day.
I'm
over to Western Australia.
I don't know.
But don't you think it's quite astounding that the Starlink went up just 2 years ago autonomously, and came back down autonomously, and then this time when they put people in, they said, "Forget about the autonomous software. We've got 2 people."
Right. They can do it.
In comes the leaking thrusters, and now I'm sure
helium.
That NASA is not putting those people back in the capsule, because it would be much better for NASA and Boeing for that to happen than to involve the Dragon crew, SpaceX, or involve the Russian Soyuz, because that is embarrassing, and they've given way much money to Boeing.
Yes,
with its complete failures and not getting its act together in comparison to Elon Musk. And not that I want to actually pat Elon Musk on the back, because he's got a series of problems as well.
Himself.
Frightening ones.
Yeah.
All right. So, and Boeing, here's the other thing, darling. Boeing are like a couple of $1 billion nearly in debt through this, because it's a fixed financial contract.
Yes.
They haven't been fined yet.
Well, they will.
But they have to complete 6 more missions.
Yeah, and they haven't finished this one yet.
No. So
and they're running out of time, aren't they?
Yeah, they are running out of time. And so it makes you wonder about what's going to happen with the moon. You know what I mean?
This historic moment makes Korea the second country in the world to land a spacecraft on the moon.
Sending speed, 1 meter per second.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Landing.
Commander! This is astronaut Hwang Sun-woo. I will now commence the main mission.
Approaching main mission area.
I just extracted ice.
Bring your astronaut back to the command module as soon as possible.
Send Hwang back up. A massive meteor's falling! Get to the lander ASAP! Reset and reboot command module software!
If this isn't successful for whatever reason, there won't be any more docking attempts.
Naro! Requesting meteor shower's impact trajectory! Fire! Fire! Warning! Orbit deviation!
Request for permission to dock boarding hull has been rejected.
Sun-woo, you need to hurry!
Warning! Warning!
Wow.
Yeah. So,
That looks interesting.
at the end of the day...
That's coming soon, is it?
Yes. At the
Can't
end
wait
of the
for it.
day...
Yeah.
There you go. Korea.
Alone
the
on
space
the moon.
program. Yeah. At the end of the day, just like the problem I had working in street welfare in
Yeah.
Sydney, where you've got numerous charities competing against each other, why doesn't the world come together
Yeah.
to make one effective, low-rent space program if they feel they really need it. I think they should make one
everybody again
cost-effective medical system worldwide.
That's not going to happen. Don't go.
They should make sure that everyone is housed and fed, and then you will have a much
Can't make
safer,
money out of it.
better
Can't
world.
Make money out of that. It's all about making some one person making lots of money from a lot of people. That's unfortunately that's the way the world is.
So our heart is with the families of Butch and Sunny.
Well, Butch and Sunny, the families are fine. They're here
and
on
with
Earth.
the rest of the astronauts up there as well, because I think you have got a dilemma that's not being really spoken about. People aren't talking about that superbug, that explosive piece. What are you looking at there?
Nothing.
You were.
I was just looking at your button then. It looked weird, but anyway.
Okay, what's wrong with it?
Nothing.
It's undone. What
No,
are you
no,
doing?
no.
You're driving me mad in the middle of the
Sorry.
podcast. Stick with the program. You'd be
sticking
no
with the
good
program.
in space flight.
I'm not going
You'd be
to
so
space. I don't
distracted.
want to go to space.
But no one's making
have-
the connection apart from this crazy Australian couple that have been together too long with their archives
I
collapsing.
have no desire.
That may be one of the reasons why they're not coming back in the Starliner.
What?
Are they all infected?
No. I don't know. Who knows? Let's hope not.
This is 13 strains. It's in every corner. They're finding it. And you know what? It is resistant to all antibiotics.
Yes, I know. But, when they said that, that if somebody with a respiratory problem, it's no good. But they wouldn't send anybody up there that's not 100% healthy, would they?
Well, have a look at Butch.
What?
Butch, you've been eating way too many Big Macs.
Well, you don't.
It's a dreadful thing to say, but
I don't know. Maybe he's lost some weight since being up there.
Well, he's lost some weight on his body. He certainly has, but his head is expanding. But look, I don't want to get into that, shaming people.
No, of course not.
Everyone should be the size that they are. And it doesn't worry me whatsoever. It's got no delineation on your heart and your motivation.
Well,
I'm just being a bit humorous there, and excuse me for being that way. I'm
being
sorry
naughty.
that I digress.
Yeah, don't say that.
But the saddest thing here is that it could be that. It could be the mere fact that it's not so much the trouble with the thrusters in the capsule. It's the mere fact that they have created the Andromeda strain by default up there on the ISS. And we're going to have to
Don't
burn
they clean
that.
and disinfect?
You know what it's like to clean and disinfect this building. Can you imagine getting to the soft areas of the ISS? They just lifted up evidently on Mir once, and this thing was pulsating behind it.
Well,
it's like, we were talking, we did a big investigation into space poop the other night.
That was fascinating.
Yeah, and the initial bags, now they have a vacuum toilet, so it must just tear your friggin' rear off you.
I don't know.
But initially it was nothing
all those-
more than a Glad sandwich bag
all those things
with a separate finger point.
But this is what I'm telling you, is like all these things that we're just not supposed to be out there.
So what I was trying to say there before that statement is that you get a little water molecule leaving.
molecule.
It's so easy to have something spread and leave because it remains consistent. It just doesn't break down and evaporate and disappear.
Well, don't they have to open the doors because things are leaking and all kinds of stuff?
I think you've been watching too much
Didn't you
science
just
fiction.
say before that they had to...
What? They opened the doors
I don't know.
let it out?
I don't know.
No. They trapped that thing and studied it. And then they probably said, let's decommission Mir. Let's get it out of here.
Right. Okay.
All right. So my heart is with them. And our hypothesis, our extrapolation in the midst of this, we've got the CEO of Boeing stepping down.
Yep.
Rory Calhoun's cousin. I doubt it very much, but he's stepping down and running into hiding.
Who
as the next
would
person.
put their hand up to take that job?
Well, if you're getting a $9.6 million bonus every year, well, I'll put my hand
On
up.
top of your wage.
Yeah.
That's on top of your wage.
I just love that senator. Didn't he give him hell?
Yeah,
that
he
was
did,
so
but-
amazing.
yeah.
But it's always in hindsight. It's after
it's
the
all
fact.
too late. Anyway.
So if you are docking.
And the other person, if they're interested in this stuff, is the angry astronaut.
Oh, yeah.
got a link there for that as well.
What we're going to do is thank you so much to Gilmore Space. We don't want to step on your copyright at all, so we'll make sure there's a link and more people become aware of the incredible job those two Maverick brothers are doing.
That's right.
And if you go up on Gilmore Space, you'll actually see them put together some Star Wars model kits as well, which gives you complete faith in the program that they're injecting.
Absolutely.
We'll also do a link to what we have found to be one of the most fascinating
He's amazing
and insightful space commentators out there. There's also the beautiful Ellie in space. She's a bit Spaceship X and Elon infatuated, but she does a great job as well. She's worth having a look at. There's a lot of great space journalists. She left TV to become a full-time YouTuber.
Okay.
We left nothing to become a full-time nothing. Yeah. Anyway.
And it's working for us.
Yeah. And look, because we've got so much going on and we're trying to actually decommission our space station.
Yeah, and we are finding those
mutant strains. We came across one in the kitchen yesterday. It was the black mole.
It was frightening. Anyway, yeah.
You did a great job there.
Yeah.
And look, at some stage during the podcast soon, Aspasia, you've got to stop just wearing your dressing gown.
No, you know what? I'm comfortable.
The bright strip bear.
This is my uniform.
You're so gorgeous.
This is my uniform, okay? Because I need to be warm. It's cold in this
I love
place.
you dearly. I'm scared about where our life's going.
Oh, relax. Our life is going
I also want to say
space.
to everyone else out there that's going through stuff next to him, a lot of people are going through stuff at the moment. Please, our hearts are with you. It's a short episode today. We'll get back to you soon enough with some meat on the bone, or we'll do another crazy little thing. But what do you think about that for a hypothesis?
What's that?
That the Andromeda strain has hit the ISS, and what
and
they're
that's
doing
why they're
is
not
they're
bringing
using,
them back?
they're using Starliner to cover it up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No,
We don't
I
want to
doubt
start that kind of stuff. I'd say that with the record that Boeing has, with
anything's possible. They're cost-cutting measures.
That's what's happened. It's definitely. Otherwise, they would have. I mean, it's probably costing them billions of dollars to have that whatever it is sitting taking up that dock.
Yeah.
So no.
How much does it cost to actually go up and watch a film
clue.
in the entertainment module that's going to be attached to the ISS?
We can't get people to go to the movies here. You think they're going to put him? They're going to want to go into a rocket?
The ticket for that screening is.
That's insane.
And you wouldn't want to get up there and go, "This Tom Cruise movie is junk. Why did I waste my money on it?" Even the popcorn's stale.
Oh my God. Anyway.
All right, NASA.
Yep.
Upside down.
Upside down.
Not a straight answer. And I think we could actually say that, whether you think the entire space program is absolutely legitimate or not. I think everyone at the moment
it's legitimate, but it just got.
Why isn't NASA telling us the truth?
I don't know.
And why isn't Boeing? Well, no one from Boeing has been cited at these press conferences for quite some time.
Well, what are they going to say? What can they say?
Unless
they lie. Unless they lie. Anything that they have to say.
I reckon we should bring back Pan Am. I love Pan Am.
Pan
Am
Am
had the greatest production design.
Oh my God.
Stanley Kubrick used them for 2001. They looked so beautiful then. And you didn't have to have all those wire-fu things back then.
It was probably form over function, but my God, that form was just amazing.
It was the best. We have still many Pan Am films from the 50s and 60s that are just beautiful.
They are.
All right. My name's Jay Katz. You've been on Untold Radio. What a crazy conundrum of convoluted carry-on.
Well, this is what's happening. We're just reporting on what is happening down here, this whole space. Because everybody's watching all that. No. Everybody's watching, the space and what's happening up there with, Butch and Suni. Because that's like an Apollo 13, isn't it?
Yeah,
trying to bring them home.
Butch and Suni's family.
Yeah, absolutely, trying to bring them home safely.
And they should be all right. But I would have them rat tested when you get them back to the planet.
Actually, I'd have them rat tested before they leave the space station.
I'd have the entire station rat tested.
Well, anyway, all right. Well, that's it for this week. We will be back next week with I don't know what.
Well, hold on a moment. Hold on. It's not it for this week.
Isn't it?
Because the most important thing is that people know that Imprint have done a series of Blu-rays. You know how we got Conquest for Space?
Oh, yes.
Space? they've done one for Marooned.
Oh.
The crew of Iron Man 1 has closed down the S-4B space laboratory in which they have worked, lived, slept, and eaten for the last 5 months.
We have negative retrofire.
Say again, Iron Man.
Negative. No burn.
The secondary thrusters are out. Repeat, out. And if that big baby doesn't fire this time, they're not coming back.
But don't tell me what to do. We've been taking your goddamn orders, and where the hell are we? From now on, we're going to make all the decisions.
Negative. Do not blow the hatch. Open it with the lever, the unlocking lever. Do you read me, Stoney?
Are the results you gained worth the lives you lost?
You're damn right they are.
I'm beginning to see visions.
So only 2,000 copies for the entire world. So we thought we'd make you aware of the trailer there, Impulse.
Yeah.
Send us a copy for doing that. Because they're really beautiful Blu-rays and the Conquest of Space. And it is a fascinating film. And as we always said, the cinema, popular culture, books, television are a reflective pool.
Of what's
they are
going
the
on.
scrying of the world we live
That's
in.
right.
And
Exactly.
these ideas that we're actually now seeing it tested to in reality were probably scribed to paper, print, and
Years
film
ago.
and vision years ago.
Absolutely.
And we just got to keep searching for that. That's why we live with so much weighty ephemera in the building. We have to break down, for God's sake.
Calm
anyway,
down. All
our
right.
heart is with you. We will overcome it. If
Now
we
we
do not
are
overcome
finished.
it, it'll be an interesting podcast to begin with.
When we
My name's
do.
Joe Katz. This is my beautiful wife, Aspasia. Take good care, love in our heart, and keep the trolls away, for God's sake.